Tell me about you being in the Pacific pub in Birkenhead. 22 years, wasn't it?
22 years, with Vera Elliott, lovely, the host, and all the characters that used to get in there. It was a wonderful place because bands played there, people came back from shows and things like that, comedians and everything, and was full of natural comedians anyway. And I played there every Sunday. Well, I started off doing about 5 nights a week, and how it came about, I was playing in a pub down the road with my mate, and we had very little gear. But we said, can we practice in your pub tonight, mate? He said, come in, yeah. So we played in the bar to all the dockers and everything. And he said, that was great, that, lads, and give us £1, 50 pence each, or 10 bob each. And he said, can you come back next week? I'll give you another £1. And then Vera from the Pacific found out about us, and she sent somebody down. She said, will you play on a Thursday night in the Pacific and I'll give you the £5. So we thought we'd really arrived,
Yeah.
But I was there all those years, and there was a fantastic atmosphere in there. And people, I had friends who came once, they were afraid to go there because of its location.
Yeah.
And when they came, they realised that their fears were unfounded. They were really lovely people that got in there. Yeah. Having said that, there was occasionally bits of trouble and that.
Bits of fun.
but and I always remember one wonderful memory. I was sitting there singing Vincent by Don McLean, lovely song, and I'd hushed the crowd there, and they were listening to, and I'd lullabied the crowd into submission, and the door opened, and it was on like a V-shaped corner, and through the door came a bloke with a horse, and he never looked at anybody, so he wasn't smiling or doing it for show. He come in and went out through the other door. To this day, we don't know who he was. And as he was going through, the horse left a message on the floor, which the proprietor wasn't very pleased about. Had to come and clean it up. Shattered all the illusion that I was trying to create. And to this day, we don't know who the fellow with the horse was.
Have you never written a song about that?
I don't think I could. No.
No. Oh, okay.
But it was a great pub, full of great people.
You must have seen some real characters in that one over the years.
Some great characters.
Some you can tell us about, and some you can't.
And I tell stories from there's a lad called John Rayner, who's like one of the funniest people I ever met. Yeah. And he should be on stage doing it himself, but I tell some of the stories that he's passed on to me over the years. So it was a great source of entertainment for everybody there, including me.
Do you know, when you look at some of these artists now, and I'm not decrying them, but they've not had the grounding that yourself and lots of the other artists have had.
Yeah, and it's a shame, really, because some of these people must think, I've arrived, I've got the world at my feet, and the next minute they're gone.
Yeah.
I remember doing a place in Brighton, I think it was, and the theatre man said, we had so-and-so on in a week or so, who just won something like, I don't know, one of these talent shows. And they said we had to cancel it. There was only 20 people had bought tickets.
Yeah.
And I felt so sorry for the fact that they would sort of lift these people, elevate them temporarily. They must think everything's okay. Yeah. Next minute they disappeared, sunk without trace, with a few exceptions. But generally speaking, that's happened a lot down the years. And as you say, they get this opportunity, but they haven't done all the hard slog, and they haven't had the ground.
And I think that goes to the demise of the social clubs. There was a programme the other day about that. And that gives these people a real...
And they were fantastic. And there was a lovely story in one of the social clubs by us, the Dockers. And they said, come on, I can't think of the fellow's name, Harry. The bingo was due, call the numbers house. And he said, no, I'm not doing it tonight. He said, what's wrong with you? He said, I'm not in any mood to do that. He said, come on, don't be like that. Come on, everybody's waiting. They've got the tickets. And his girlfriend or his wife had left him or something, or the lady he was living with it was, And when he got up there, he was doing the numbers, and he said, 2 and 7, 27. That was the number of her house. And then he'd do a few more, and he'd say, number 4, that was her birthday. For God's sake, get on with it. So social clubs were a great source of, great talent in social clubs.
I mean, over the years, I've seen lots of acts and comedians, and some that have died on stage and some that have done really well, and they've gone round all the clubs, haven't they? And
Doddy told me a story of a friend of his who did a show in Yorkshire, and he said he died of death, this comedian. And when he come off, he couldn't wait to get to the farthest part of the pub with a pint in his hand. And after a while, the compere came in. He said, "Here, that's the comedian, isn't a lad like?" And he said, Yeah, I am. He said, no offence, like, but there's crap and there's on again in 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
I thought, what a wonderful introduction.
Yeah.
The poor fellow must have been quaking in his boots, but you had to be tough to survive, especially as a comedian.
Yeah. And some of the shows that were on at the time, Stars in Their Eyes and all, bits and bobs like that, you could actually make or crucify an act, couldn't they? Because sometimes people had gigs cancelled because the material wasn't that good or it was old hat.
Well, what I sort of didn't like about some of the shows was how they humiliated some people. I thought that was so cruel, to sort of publicly make them feel very bad and say how useless they were. And I thought that was a very cruel thing. Those people have got to go back to the community and the families, and everybody said, "Did you see him last week?" You know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cruel.